Hello and welcome to the Royal Voluntary Service Virtual Village Hall. My name is Sue Salter and I'm here today with two different crafts to show you with a festive theme. So first of all, I'm going to show you some cards that I've made and then we're going to move on to some baubles that I've made. So let's start with some examples of cards that I've made previously. So we've got here a lovely tree. It's quite modern. I've got 3 pieces of card that I've stuck down, and then over the top I've used 3 different coloured threads to bring this beautiful sort of stitched design. And we've got some other cards here using the same materials but different designs. This is a beautiful star. This is actually a little bit complicated. We're not going to be actually doing this particular design today, but I thought it was nice to include it and show you anyway. And we've got here a bauble, again using the same materials, but this time I haven't stuck a background underneath. I've just used the stitching and a pen. Same idea with the bauble here. I've got this little tree, which is a really sweet little design. Again, without the card background, the paper design underneath, just the stitching, and then I've got a little wooden star that I've stuck on that one. And this is a stunning one, isn't it? This has got the background of the card stuck down, and then again the thread, tapestry thread over the top, and then just finished with some writing and the bauble hanging design. What have we got at the front? Another bauble, very, very similar to the one that I've just shown you. So you can see that we've got a few different ideas here. So let's talk about materials. What do we actually need to produce these beautiful cards? So of course, we need to have cards and envelopes. And then if you're going to go for the design with the stuck background, like this tree and the bauble, then it's nice to have a collection of perhaps some wrapping paper or some old Christmas cards you can use as a background, or just simply some, this is just some sort of glitter card, which I just had in my craft box. So that's the sort of thing that you can use as a background. And then we've got glitter glue. And this is actually just a Crayola, quite reasonably priced. You can buy it online. I actually bought it online at my local supermarket. So that's a really very easy one to just have available. And then we need needles. And today I'm using a size 20 tapestry needle, but I've got a few different ones here. If you find it really a struggle to thread the needle, then obviously the bigger the needle, it makes it easier, but you're going to have bigger holes in your card, if that makes sense. And then I always have a ruler available and a pencil and some masking tape we're using today, and glue. This is just a Pritt stick, and these are a real asset to anybody's craft box. These pens, which you can use on lots of different surfaces. I've used them on stone, on card, on paper, on tiles. These are really great. And again, you can buy them online, and they're about £15 for 12 different colours. And I've had these for about a year, and as long as you're using them quite regularly, they don't dry up, so they're a real asset. And these are just Sharpies, a very well-known name, aren't they? Which again, I got these online. I think they were £3 for 2 pens. But the ones that I went for have got like a double nib. So you've got a fat end and you've got the sort of thinner, fine tip as well. You can just see that. So that's a really great pen to have for lots of different purposes as well. And then I've also got a thimble. For those of you that, well, you'll see in a minute as we stab through the card, it can be quite hard on your fingers. So I've got a thimble there, and of course thread. And I'm just using tapestry thread here. This might look like a big jumble, but what I've done is I've cut all these different colours to a particular length, so I can go right into the middle and choose a colour, and it doesn't all get knotted and tangled. So that's a really great idea, just to keep all the colours pre-cut. So moving on to the design that I've chosen to show you today. So I thought I'd try and do the bauble, which is just so pretty. Again, I've got a card background, which I've cut out. I actually drew round a lid here, just drew round with my pencil, cut it out, and I've stuck it onto the back, onto the card with a Pritt stick. And then what I've done next is I've got my needle and I've gone round the edge of the card, just making holes, and these aren't measured. I've literally just quite randomly chosen to space these holes out, but it makes it so much easier to sew when you start on the back. And then I've chosen today this lovely green piece of card in the background, and I'm using red tapestry thread and also this very fine gold, which is really pretty and just will bring a little bit of a sparkle as we're sewing. So this is quite an easy design because you can just use any of the holes and just go round the edge of the bauble. You can see on the back here, I'm not going across the bauble on the back because otherwise that would be a waste of thread, but I'm going across the bauble on the front, and I can just choose any of these holes to go into. I'm going to choose this one here. And you can see the gold is just really brings a lovely sparkle, doesn't it, to the colours that we've chosen. This is a really relaxing thing to do. You get some Christmas music on even. Okay, so I'm doing this in a little bit of a rush. You, of course, can take your time. And you can see on the card that I did previously that I sewed around the outside with the gold as well. You can see this around the outside. So I went across quite randomly with two different colours, and then actually just went on the edge with the gold, which I think really finishes it off. But I'm going to leave it there because I want to get on and show you the bauble as well, the painted bauble. Okay, so when I've finished at the end of my thread, I can just turn it over, cut off the excess, and then just with a little bit of tape, just secure that thread on the back. There it is. Okay. So, as I say, I would probably carry on and just go around the edge, but I just wanted to make a little bit of an example to show you, and then you can do your own thoughts on that. So I think just to finish that off as well, I would go around the edge, but I think also a little bit of glitter glue just around the edge, and then a writing as well would be really lovely. So I think I might go for the red, and these are just the Crayola glitter glues that, as I say, they're very, very reasonably priced. And always with the glitter glue, less is more. So just come very, very steadily when you come to put it on the card. And again, you can see it's not measured. I'm actually doing it quite randomly. Just letting that just come out and just make a little dot around the edge. There's something quite pretty about just a little bit of glitter, isn't there? Particularly at this time of the year. You can see right around the edge there. and I'm rushing, but you can, of course, take lots more care and time. Let's put my lid on. And then I think I'll use the Sharpie today, but I could go for the paint pens. And I'm just going to draw my, actually I'll use the thin end, draw my thread down from the top. And just the idea of a ribbon around the edge. And then just freehand actually, but you might not feel as comfortable doing freehand, in which case you could cut out the words Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas from a Christmas card previously, but I'm just going to write it freehand. Okay, and I would leave that to dry nice and flat, but there is our finished Christmas card. And I think that's a really pretty handmade card, and whenever I'm given anything that's handmade, I just feel so touched because I know that the time and the effort has gone into making that, which is really nice, isn't it? So that's our card. I'm going to leave that flat to dry. And we're going to move on to the baubles. So let me just move a few things out of the way. And again, because I didn't want this video to be a very, very long one, I have done a bit of preparation beforehand. So let's have a look at some examples first of all. We've got our beautiful bauble tree here with a few different designs on. This is a white bauble, and I've just put some holly on that, just with the paint pens, which is great. This is obviously the silver, quite sparkly bauble, and I've got Joy to the World there. That's been in the box for a little while actually, it might not be the best one to show you. This is a lovely one that I've done quite recently. Oh Holy Night, which are words from a beautiful carol at this time of the year. And I just used the black Sharpie for that one. I'll show you this one as well. This is Let It Snow. And I used the white paint pens and just a little bit of silver glitter glue to make it very frosty like. But you might not want to do the writing. It is quite a challenge actually. You might feel more comfortable perhaps drawing a snowman or a reindeer, or just doing some lovely, even just some lovely spots on the bauble, just make it really pretty. So, as I say, I started this one a little bit earlier. So I've just used the paint pens. I used the green. I just drew the holly, the shape of the holly. And then just with a black Sharpie, I did just some squiggles around the top. You can see. And then with the red glitter glue, just did some little berries around the top of the bauble. But now I just think it'd be really, really nice to add a little bit of paint to the holly here. So I'm using the Pebbio Vitera, which is available online. And I'm using the dark green, Oriental green I think it's called. And so I'm just going to use it straight from the lid. Actually, I'll give that a little bit of a shake first. And just quite a thin paintbrush. This is a size 6 or a size 4. And I'm just going to literally just use the paint just to give the holly a little bit of a darker. It's going to stay inside the line as much as I possibly can. Something that I didn't say earlier actually, which is obviously really important when we were doing the stitched cards, was to have a craft mat. So I mean, you don't have to go out and buy one. This is a placemat that I've turned upside down because it's got the lovely cork on the back. Or you actually could just lean on a tea towel just to stab the card with the needle. That just came to mind actually as I was starting my holly. Okay, so it's a beautiful colour, the green. And this is a water-based paint. And so it dries reasonably quickly, and of course you can just wipe the brush and then wash it with water, which is lovely. No white spirit or anything smelly, which is really helpful. Let's go inside the prickles of the holly. Just take it right down to the tip. I think that really finishes off that holly leaf, doesn't it? So let's do the other one. Being careful not to smudge. And you can see that I've rested the bauble on this, the lid that I'm using. Or you could use, this is an inside of a cardboard tube, which is actually really helpful. It just steadies the bauble as you're trying to draw and paint on it. It's really helpful. So again, you can do these reasonably quickly, and they make such a beautiful gift. You could put someone's name on it, or to my teacher, or to my neighbour. Handmade gifts are the best, aren't they? Okay, so again, I'm quite rushing this because I'm aware of the getting it all done in the video, but you can take your time, which is really nice. Okay, so I think that's really finished off that holly leaf beautifully. And I think while I'm here, I may just add a couple more berries. And the glitter glue, as I said earlier, less is definitely more. What we don't want is really runny, dribbly glitter glue everywhere. I'm going to just put a bit more on those berries there. They look a little bit thin, don't they? Beautiful. And then obviously you need to leave that to dry. And the glitter glue takes longer to dry than the glass paint. And then I've just added a ribbon there, which is just really finishes it off. With these shop-bought baubles, they come with, I don't know, I've got one here actually, like a pre-tag, which is very thin. So some really beautiful, luxurious ribbon just finishes that off. And I've always got a collection of ribbons in my craft box. This is just a few that I had from last year. But they're really great to just keep in and add onto any craft thing like this at this time of the year. Is really pretty. It really finishes it off. So I hope that sort of inspired you, and I would love to see what you do as well. So if you can send your pictures to the Royal Voluntary Service, and they'll get passed to me, and you can inspire and encourage me as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again